As the soldiers repeatedly stabbed their bayonets into the ground, every ninja hiding beneath the surface was exposed. But it wasn't because the soldiers were exceptionally skilled. A ninja traitor within the army already knew the exact hiding spots of his own people. Even the ninjas disguised as trees were easily discovered because of him. Once their disguises failed, the ninjas immediately tried to flee for their lives. Those who were too slow were cut down by the soldiers' swords without mercy. Yet despite watching so many of his subordinates die, the ninja leader showed no panic at all. Hidden across different corners of the battlefield was still a secret unit of elite ninjas that the soldiers had no knowledge of. At that same moment, another group of special ninja reinforcements arrived. Each of them seemed to descend from the sky like divine warriors. The instant their leader gave the order, the ninjas charged directly toward the soldiers. The general felt hopeful when he saw this. He believed the ninjas were weak in direct combat and thought his army would wipe them out completely. But he had underestimated them badly. The ninjas were not only masters of disguise. Their teamwork was terrifyingly effective. They attacked in coordinated groups and never fought alone. On top of that, they skillfully used hidden weapons from every direction. Very quickly, the entire battle turned around. The soldiers were forced to retreat step by step. Realizing defeat was approaching, the general had no choice but to order the king to escape first. Ninja Jimmy noticed this immediately and chased after them alone. Just as he was about to reach the king, an arrow suddenly shot through the air and knocked him from the sky. The strongest general had finally arrived. This was the same warrior who had once defeated 100,000 enemy soldiers with only 10,000 men. Yet despite his incredible strength, he never underestimated an opponent. In reality, Jimmy had blocked the arrow. Then the second phase of their battle began. Jimmy leaped high into the air and attacked the general again. The general countered instantly, driving his spear straight through what appeared to be Jimmy's body. But it was only a decoy. Jimmy pushed the fake body aside and launched another attack. Shockingly, the general reacted with incredible speed, drawing the sword from his waist and slamming Jimmy onto the ground. Everyone believed the fight was over. But the moment the soldiers lowered their guard, Jimmy suddenly stood back up again. It turned out that before every battle, he always prepared hidden protection for himself. The body that had been pierced was actually a heavy armored shell worn beneath his clothes. After removing the thick metal armor, Jimmy felt lighter than ever before. His speed increased dramatically. To him, the soldiers' attacks now looked painfully slow. Before anyone could even track his movements, Jimmy had already knocked countless soldiers to the ground. Then the third duel between him and the general began. But just as Jimmy was about to reach the general, the king standing nearby suddenly attacked. He ordered the general to duck instantly, then raised his bow and fired an arrow at Jimmy from less than 2 meters away. The distance was so short that Jimmy had no time to react. The massive arrow blasted him hundreds of meters away into the forest. But the story didn't end there. After returning to camp, the king finally relaxed his guard. Suddenly, one of the soldiers standing nearby pointed a sword directly at him. A guard rushed forward to protect the king, only to discover something shocking. The soldier was actually Jimmy in disguise. It turned out Jimmy's reaction speed was almost beyond human. The instant the arrow had been fired earlier, he still had enough time to place a fake body in front of himself. That was how he survived. And he hadn't come alone. The wounded soldiers lying around the camp were secretly his ninja allies disguised as injured men. Jimmy alone had already been difficult enough for the general to handle. Now that even more elite ninjas had appeared, the army's chances of victory became even smaller.